places that this thing. Oh, it's not. I didn't bring in my my case. Okay. Well, I have a space. I have a space, and I wanted to say that it's gonna be crazy. Um, today. No, today's actually the first break I've had in years. I'm gonna tell a story about why the police almost took me away for you. Like you guys almost didn't see me for the next 15 years. Yesterday, I finally did something that was very brave and stupid as can be. I stood up for my rights, and I came so close. I mean, it's just like I'm already out on not bail, but released from the court on certain conditions for a case that is pending for entering a building without permission. And yesterday I just walked into Tamara's house to make coffee for everybody, like it should have been normal and natural and whatever. But of course, she freaked out because once I was in there, I could see that she had stolen. I mean, I could see of the stuff that she had stolen from me. I could just see at least $100,000 worth of my belongings just in her living room visible area. And you know what I mean? She was trying to say she was done. And I had brought a friend over, so I'm going to tell the story. I mean, so I almost like got charged again. I'm out on that for entering a building without, you know, and then the drug planting and all that stuff. You know what I mean? There's a weird conspiracy going on. It's a very strange story. So I'm going to try to keep it consolidated for you, so you can understand. It's I am in a huge amount of danger. I don't know if you guys saw the documentary that I was in about the missing people on Big Island, Hawaii. But yeah, like the night that the the guy that disappeared, the beginning of the documentary is about um, Kelly Kelly Grevitt. He, like that same day, I was warned by Uncle Witt's tenants. A few of his tenants had told the story that I was, or told me to watch out because I was sorry. I'm ADHD and my mind's all over the place. Give me a second to center myself. Breathe, ponder, breathe, ponder. Communicate. Yeah, the Kelly I was one of the last people to see Kelly, and I got it on my YouTube channel, and that is part of the documentary. The last interview that I did of Kelly Gravitt telling the story of actually what did happen to him that got him gaslit. All the rumors and everything, everybody's word of mouth, really going around, and the island, it's just people hear things and they believe them, and then it causes problems. And so some people use this. It is literally dark magic, like black magic, casting spells by making up lies about people. And so there's this psychology lesson that has emerged that I want to teach. And so I'm trying to tell a story about why I was a multimillionaire multiple times. And I've been reduced down to almost, I mean, I have a van. I'm living in a van. I'm homeless. And I have no income and no capabilities to function. I'm almost reduced all the way down. Like I was a multimillionaire artist, glassblower, all these, like I bred cannabis in Humboldt County for 16 years before I came here, and had just really established myself as an artist, doing all these pictures with bubbles and bubble patterns from the hash making process and all these things. Um, that I turned, people were just like, "Whoa, that's weed and it's bubbles," and you know what I mean. I did really well as an artist, and my drawings were psychedelic, and I put those on shirts and all these things. So I've had a clothing line going, and all these. And my girlfriend was taking the bubble pictures and making clothing out of them. We had this whole like we're master artists, and we're very successful before we came to Hawaii, and we got targeted. I got targeted by this guy out here that now it turns out is potentially part of this whole Epstein ring of, you know what I mean, like human traffickers. Like there's something going on with the Garden Temple and the way that he was protected, and I have been targeted, and they vultured everything from my life and got away with it. And then like the police and the judges have been synchronized timing wise with these people, making it just so I got sent to the mental institution, just like Trump said would happen to anyone who tried to. He said, so I have to get this in there real quick. I did a, sorry, I'm backtracking. I did a comedy stand-up routine open mic night, and I was just like, you guys realize like the last election was like 24% versus 25%, and they were both just voting against the other guy because they just couldn't imagine. And I used derogatory terms, you know. But I made fun of both of them, and I was just like, nobody would want either of these ding dongs in there, and you know, and so but there's still more than half the country just sitting there. It didn't even care to go vote because they knew it was rigged, and right, the electoral college and all this stuff makes it just like obsolete. So um, I was just like, and then I pointed out how I'm Native American, I'm part black, I'm like, I'm, you know, which is funny because now I'm blocked from Facebook because the other day I was throwing a tantrum and I used the word with it, I didn't even spell it out, and I called myself that as I was feeling like a slave for finally getting paid. Google still hasn't paid me anything. I do this. I'm not getting paid. You know, I put on like almost 2,000 videos on YouTube, and I have lots of following. But for some reason, I see the numbers go down. Like they're like, I swear they're lying. I have more views than I actually do. So the level of conspiracy is like huge. Like maybe Google's in on it too. Is everybody like all these billionaires have just been taking my ideas for years and then putting me through all these crazy things, just like using me like a tool and just knowing that I'm a solutions guy and I'm just trying to help the world. Like, come along. So, anyway, it's just nuts. um, I almost went away the other day, and I was attacked by you know I was hunted behind my property, and there were 7 people with night vision scopes, and I'm on the ground crawling, doing Rambo stuff, and just rolling over, and just like, oh my god, it was so close, dude. There was car chases and all this stuff. So, oh yeah. After the comedy routine, Trump said on the rally, this one guy that had a Uzi under his shirt at this gas station. I was surrounded by all these people with guns and waiting for the cops to show up. And this guy turned up his radio, and it was Trump on there saying like, "If I ever had a third party opponent arise out of nowhere, I would have him slandered and discredited and arrested for drugs and thrown in the loony bin so quick he wouldn't even know what hit him." And and it was like weird. And then the cops show up, and I that led into another car chase thing, and I disappeared. Anyway, I lived through all these assassination attempts, and I've been like, they've vultured my life so many ways. And so, like, you know what I mean, like conspiracy theorists. Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Like, I am a I am living proof that the shit is happening. There are people infiltrating all sectors of the system, and I am just like, and I'm not trying to expose that, but it's just like my existence. The fact that I've just like fallen through the cracks and there's no help for people like me to even get disability, to even get like properly medicated, to get like, I'm just like, whoa. And I see how the drug war is just like separating people that have empathy and just holding them down. It's just the control freaks of the world that are like, I'm just like, it's just this weird position for me because I just want to be in nature. I just want to live in peace and harmony with nature and enjoy my life and learn and teach. I'm a teacher. And so, as a super scientist artist, I feel like it's my duty to do this for the children of the future. I love you, children. I hope you learn a lot from my madness. It has become very confusing. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to tell a story of why the police were surrounding me in my video on my channel the other day. I just posted it. And yeah, and they almost arrested me and threw me. I was refusing to go. I was like, no, 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 my stuff. I'm standing next to my stuff. I got out of the mental institution, and they said I was not insane. I have no mental illness. I am just very much on the spectrum. I'm gifted, but not in music. So I struggle with music because my brain works in spirals. I see causality and vibrations, and like so to turn it into numbers and then letters and then like trying to like that's not how music works in my mind. And I'm trying to adapt to it and figure it out, but so that's why I work the hardest on it, because it's a challenge for me. And so I look at things that are challenging, and that's what I go for because it's the most interesting. It's like, so that's how I ended up being a glass blower and just wanting to know how, like, yeah, but it's bending the light and all these things. I'm just like, I learned so much from glass blowing. And so that's why it's so horrible that this lady took all my stuff and wouldn't let me function at all. So my computers, everything, like every way that I functioned as an artist, she has stripped from my life. And it's just wild. I cannot see how she's been allowed to get away with doing this to so many people. She's a succubi. So I have a playlist on my channel that is, you know, for that specific topic. All my topics are in the playlists on YouTube. Like psychology and meteorites and fulgurites and lightning and science and glass blowing and all these things, dude. I'm trying to categorize it for people now. I started doing that halfway through my 20 years of YouTube, and but yeah, I'm not doing it for followers. I'm not doing it for, like, I'm not getting paid yet because I don't ask people to subscribe. I don't ask people to, you know what I mean? I'm just like trying to document. I'm a scientist and I'm trying to lay down the data, the truth of the situation. And so my life has been so crazy. I've ended up being humans psychologist, as I'm like one of the rare humans that actually like sees what's going on. And that has been so detrimental to my life by actually seeing. Because whoa, dude, it comes back at me just like just situations. So anyway, I got these people. I bought land from this monster, and he was getting away with some super horrible things, using his dance floor to lure people in and drugging people, and people were, so 20 years of just who knows what he was getting away with. We won't go into that. But I got pulled in and bought it for way too much, and then made a few years him pretending to be friends with me, and before I realized that he was the one that caused this robbery that happened where I lost everything, and then yeah, so like, dude, that's like super super evil, targeted, like life draining vampire, and so I don't know if they're in some kind of cult, or you know what I mean. These people are helping each other get away with some super crazy crap, and that's the scary and not cool. And I feel very alone to deal with it. And everybody else just looks at me like I'm so dumb for taking it on. But like, how can I, like, I've been bullied my whole life to this point where and I see other people get bullied, and that's when I actually snap. And I do, I turn into a superhero when I see other people. Like, I'm just like, no, 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 no. I've been through this, and I'm not going to let this happen anymore. And so, yeah. Oh, we got to plug in here. I'm just, yeah. Uh, the cops were around me. Oh yeah, okay. So I finally, this whole last year since I got out of the mental institution, um, I got out and I saw which of my belongings were left at this house. I guess I have to tell. Okay, so the I have to tell you how I got into this situation where I was living in a van from owning property. I had a property that was just a fruit jungle. I built a penthouse above the tree line that was uh, you can see ocean view and just it was so beautiful. So you'll if you look back on my channel, there's what I mean. Like I poured my whole heart and soul into this, and I thought I was just pretty much retired at 37, so I could just finally focus on the art because I was all this working and stuff and having happy cruise in California, people working for me. Everybody was just like growing weed legally and just like, man, I had all these strains I was breeding and everything. It was just like everyone was involved and whatever ones worked for them best. We were all scientists together. It was beautiful. I was such a good leader. I had my daughter with me. Everything was so wonderful and humble before I got targeted and robbed. So and then so yeah, I got traumatized from that, and then come to Hawaii, and I'm just like I couldn't continue with the construction, and then this guy just drained me, and it started spreading all the rumors about me, all of his evil stuff that he was doing. He was telling the community that all those things were me. This is projection. So that's what I'm trying to teach in my story is that people, the narcissists use slander and blackmail and gossip and stuff, dark magic as their tools to help people to just get away with the crap that they're doing to people. So anyway, I got turned into a feeding frenzy feast, and all the narcissists on Big Island were triggered by my authenticity, and I just was shining love and having fun, but I was hanging out with all the cute girls, and um, you know, I wasn't trying to get with them. They just were comfortable being my friends because you know they're scientists too. Like they saw that I wasn't trying to manipulate them, and so I was filming all the goddesses doing goddess things. I was invited to all of these, like let's go to the beach and like dress up as mermaids and spend the whole day getting film of underwater of us doing mermaid scenes and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm down for that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool. I was cool. I was fun. Now I'm not so much. I'm a little bit more harsh, um, and abrasive. I noticed this. So, anywho, uh, yeah. I, I got the night I was arrested. It was like all night Rambo style stuff going on, and got away. And I just booked it. I lost my shoes, my phone. I'm like climbing through the trees, just like tumbling down. Um, I come out thinking I was on a couple properties behind me, but it was actually on my neighbor's house that was on my land, and the tenants that had already like this girl had already been causing all these problems and lied on Facebook saying that I was doing yelling at her and her daughter and stuff when I was just like going up to talk to them nicely and saying I was filming them without permission when I was just like I film when people are doing things. they need, because I had to file restraining orders because of my land partner and all this stuff, not letting me use the dance floor, and then having me attacked by people for even just existing on my driveway became unsafe. And I was like, what do I do? And I can't like retaliate. I can't just turn into one of them. And so like, you gotta file restraining orders. And the cops told me that I have to use the court to protect myself. So I got a restraining order against the guy. And we forgot one line or something, didn't put his name twice on a page or something. And yeah, had to do it again. And there was like, it's just, there was a moment where he just kept getting away with stuff. And still, the courts have not acknowledged that he violated the restraining order numerous times and should have been, and he hit me with a machete on film. I have it on my YouTube in my evidence pilot playlist. So anyway, it's crazy. I I got myself arrested. I busted into this house where this girl that's already been a hater and part of the slanderers line. Is it ready?
What? No, it's still.
I'm on TV.
Cook.
Oh, what? It's okay. I'm just on TV. So I went down. I thought I didn't know what a house it was. I didn't recognize it from the back, and I was just trying to get inside because I was surrounded by little dots that were following me, and I could see the dots almost getting, like targeting dots on me from the sights and stuff. Because my eyes were fully adjusted and I didn't have a light. I lost my headlamp and my phone, and these guys that had night vision scopes and stuff didn't realize that I could see where they were, but they were surrounding me and like professionals. They weren't just like they weren't shooting because I was like they're just waiting, and I had I grabbed a fake. It was a BB gun. It looked like a Glock, but I was just like, in case I have to have a standoff, I have to pretend, keep them at a distance, right? Because if they think that that I'm armed also, and just had these for hunting rats and whatever on my land. I at one point I was willing to try to hunt and kill. I'm not anymore. I feel bad still. There's other ways to go about things. We gotta change the incentives, yo. We just gotta like make it not that have some cats around. That's all. Oh yeah, ponder cat, absorbable, hopefully. Yeah, this is actually in tune still, I think. But so I bust in this house, and the girl's just like, oh my god, I'm like, I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'm not gonna hurt anybody. Just call the police. Call the police. And she grabbed her 8-year-old that was sleeping, and ran out the front door and got in her car and took off. And the boyfriend's standing there. I'm like, dude, do you see the dots there? Is anybody there? He's like, I don't see anybody. I'm like, well, do you have a phone? Can you call the police? He's like, I don't have my phone. I'm like, go make sure she's calling the police. Get the police here. And he left, and I hid under the bed because I watched dots on the wall, like looking for me. They didn't know whether to come in because I had the fake one, so they thought if they came too close, if they just walk in, I might, right? So that saved my life. Having the fake gun saved my life, and then them calling the police. That is the only way that I was not another missing person. And this was like 2 months after my friend Kelly disappeared, and they tried to get me. And I know for sure, I heard it from Witt's mouth that he put the hit on me and Kelly that time. So I'm assuming this time he had people. We don't know who those people were. They seemed really professional. They were whistling to each other like in bird calls that aren't like birds from here. You know what I'm saying? Like marine kind of like level. And the fact that they weren't firing, because I didn't give them a clean shot the whole time. I just kept doing like crazy stuff, just diving and rolling into ravines and crawling on my belly in between trees that they couldn't follow me through and stuff. I was hard to get. Oh man, my instincts kicked in, my survival instincts. I was praying to God. I was like, oh my God, please God, don't let this. They were closing in, and I just like, I just prayed to God. I was like, please give me the strength to get through this. I've got to be able to see my daughter again and explain to her that all the shit her mom said was not true. You know what I mean? So it's like, she can't just like think that I'm whatever, hurt myself and just disappear or something. You know what I mean? It's just like, no way. But the way that, things work, people just see what they don't understand and they assume that it might be a little. Oh. Oh, that's not it. So yeah, it was wild. I just, it was a miracle that I lived that night. There's no other way to say it. I was overcome with some kind of power, like confidence. Like God answered my prayer. I was atheist, not atheist, agnostic as far as being a scientist. I just was like, well, we don't really know, do we? So I took my Mormon indoctrination and let go of that, and then I realized science is also a little dogmatic, and I was like, okay, wow, we really need to leave the options open. Maybe there is God, maybe there is connection, and so I just prayed, and it was like a miracle. I lived through the night, but I had to get myself arrested, and the cops came, and I'm like, oh my God, you're gonna save my life, and they, instead of like going after the people that were after me, they just threw me in the cop car, like I was the problem, and I was like, hello. But, I could see the course just like, you can't just bust into people's houses like that. I'm like, so you're saying I should have just let the people kill me? Is that, what does freedom allow? Does freedom allow you to survive if you're going to have to do some crazy shit to live? So if I go to trial, I want some people to know the truth. So I have to tell the story. I have to let it out. Or, if I just disappear, then they can say whatever they want. I still had to go for that, and then they just they realized that her restraining order that she filed, I wasn't even in the state, I was in Arizona, so they threw that out, and they realized that he was on my property, and the house is actually on my property, and he moved the pin and all that. It was like my house, and I was just being robbed and taken advantage of all this in all these other ways. So weird. These monsters get away with this most scandalous scams, dude. And they think they're so smart for it. Just screwing people out of their life's work, man. Like Tamara was complaining to my friend that was there the other day about how I wasn't really worth millions of dollars and stuff. It's because she doesn't know what she has and she doesn't know how to sell it. And I wasn't even trying to sell it. I was trying to build a museum to teach people. I wasn't collecting specimens to turn in money. You don't see me like. Anyway. I got arrested, and they threw the restraining order out, and then like a day goes by, I'm sitting there in the cell going like, hello, and they say they find more drugs in my stuff when I was arrested, and I'm like, huh? And the next day the court lets me out, and I went and peed clean, showing that I was not on drugs. And so it's just like now they're charging me with drugs and entering a building, and they let me back out. I didn't dare to go home. I was just like, they tried to kill me over there. Like, so I stayed on the streets with nothing for like 3 weeks in Hilo, wearing different disguises, going to free boxes and shaving and looking totally different, just pretending to be somebody else on the streets of Hilo instead of Puna. And yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy story. I got a hold of my friend, and I was like, I found a friend that would go home with me. I finally showed up home, and he's a homeless guy, and I was just like, I just need help cleaning up. He ended up, of course, flaking on me and being a problem, but at least I had somebody with me, and had another incident where I was targeted in the forest back there looking for my phone. I was just like, oh my god, they've got sensor, like night vision hunting cameras or something. But I had my slingshot and I was shooting ball bearings and they just scattered. Seriously, I opened fire. I was just like, bam, 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 dude, straight up. I'll get you through the eyeball. You want your brain exploded? I ain't dying. Not down. Sorry. I got work to do. I got very important work. So I got to get the art out. Don't you know I'm an artist? And I got some spirals to portray. So yeah, I got a hold of my friend, the realtor. He helped me get through that. I sold my property. I got most of my stuff out of there. I still left a bunch of tools and things behind, slabs and all this stuff that I was supposed to get, rocks. And they cut my time short because I'm ADHD. It took so long. I had to hire friends to help me box things up and get my barn, my man cave empty. And I ended up in my Acura, but my Acura wasn't doing it. So I bought this van, this four-wheel drive van, and it had high clearance. Joey built it, across the drivetrain from a Blazer and all this, made it four-wheel drive and lifted 6 inches. Beautiful party wagon. He used it for years, throwing parties at Mocklavena and going all these places where I was going to be able to go and look for fulgurites and spend my time doing what I love, just looking for meteorites and fulgurites with my dogs. That was the plan. But then I started going to church to get to these free boxes, and I didn't know what to do. I put my money in the stock market. I sold my property for super low. I put $250,000 into it and sold it for 100,000, and just to get out of there. And I got 90 of it because of the fees and all that stuff, right? So, and then I owed Erica still. She, after I got robbed, she covered a lot of it with her. She got a life insurance when her husband died, and so for our relationship, I was paying for a lot of stuff, and then she all of a sudden was paying, and it kind of drained our relationship and made it weird. And I lost her over all the drama, getting targeted by all these people. I did not want her in the crossfire for sure. So yeah, sorry about the dogs. I'm getting there. This is how I ended up going to the Seventh Day Adventist Church down in HPP. I had a friend that was just going there once, and I was stopping by to use his shower or something. Good guy. And I ended up at free vegan meal potluck every Saturday. The Seventh Adventist keep Saturday as the Sabbath. Good people, good food. But the preacher, I thought he was a good guy. Joe Havensky. Turns out not so much. Dude, predator. And I'm talking like, kind of. If I was an FBI profiler, I would look into that guy. He just keeps digging these septic tank holes with his little backhoe, and it's just like, oh, we're not allowed to do that. Well, let's just cover that back up and shit. I just dug a 5-foot hole for no reason over here with my tractor and stuff, and just like, where did that old lady go that was co-signing on my house and all this stuff? I mean, weird shit. People telling me that they lost their entire life's work. I hear rumors now. I'm just like, this guy is up to what you all told. Getting away with serious predatory garbage. We've got a monster on our hands, haven't we? Anyway, he talked me into, because I was going and singing with the veterans, and I thought he was a good guy, singing about Jesus, putting on his Jesus mask, going out and singing to people that live like through hell for us, for our freedom. And they were now dying, they're veterans.
So I thought that was a worthy cause. I went and sang about Jesus. Hey guys, meet Mr. Bubbles. And Mr. Bubbles got us kicked out because I don't have his papers because I'm ADHD. Anyway, back to the story. Joe talked me into staying at this house that I was going to buy. I was like, well, I don't really need it. I kind of want to be off this island because it's been a nightmare. Why do I want to be in Nunavut? But he offered this house to me for $50,000 that he got from this lady for 15. And he said 5,000 down. I just want somebody there, and I started working on it. And he's like, it's better if somebody's here so I don't my tools don't disappear and whatnot. And he had one ladder and stuff. Anyway, I've got all this on film. The evidence is there. Like I emptied my storage units that had all my fulgurites that I'd spent all these years looking for as I was banished and didn't dare to go to dance anymore because I kept getting attacked and all this stuff. I just spent my time with my dogs down in the desert, loving looking for meteorites, and I found a lot of cool stuff. And so yeah, he knew that I had all the value. He saw that I was talented in collecting and autistic and easily gullible and fell for it. And I mean, I even signed a paper that didn't have anything above it. You just sign here and I'll put out all the writing on it. I'll print it and I'll give you a copy. I'm like, because he was about to leave Island and not come back till December. It was like June or something. Late June, early July. And I was like, well, I guess I could use a place to organize my stuff and see what's sellable and, whatever's left from my property, what's not worth shipping back to my family in Utah. My glass blowing stuff I got, my fulgurites, I'm taking all these. Right? Hello. So I separated and emptied 3 full 10 by 10 storage units. And then into this. And then I had a court date coming up, and the judge was telling me and so it was weird. All of a sudden, my caseworker, I went to Care Hawaii by choice to get help getting my ADHD medication and the disability because I can't function. I can't just work, and I sold my land, and I'm not going to live on $100,000 for very long. And put it in the stock market, and I started going through coin rolls, and I just my van was full of coin rolls, and I was just like, well, this house Joe wants to give me for 50,000, it could help me organize things, and if I make it nice and then live in it for half a year and get it like livable, then I can rent it out and have perpetual income. And he asked for 500 a month. I was like, I could rent it out for 800 a month, at least, if not 1,000. And why not, right? Hello. So I was like, I just get my stuff organized, stop paying these storage fees, and the storage units, 3 of them, they go from $100, 111 to 160 to 100, 200. They raise the prices every month. It's crazy. So I was like, oh, I better, and I wasn't organizing them because it was hard enough just to get them all full. And then once they were so full, I couldn't get in there and do stuff. I was like, maybe I'll use this house, turn it into what could be a future church. I saw it as an imaginary. I was like thinking about how I was seeing all these ironies about Jesus and about the real lesson that Jesus was teaching and how the church bastardized it. And so his fake Jesus mask and how the church is doing the fake Jesus mask and how, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are the church people that got me the hardest. I had the whole hippie mafia after me. And then Trump potentially got involved. Who knows if those were like Russian or what? You know what I mean? Who knows what those guys were like? Who he would send as his goons to send me that message. The guy had a veteran sticker on his. The guy with the Uzi that had turned on Trump on the radio. So, and what Trump said, that he would get me slandered, arrested for drugs, thrown in the loony bin, and discredited, and right? He said that a year before all of those things happened. And then, you know what I mean? And then here I go, sent into the loony bin by this Joe Havansky guy that tricked me into living in this house. Do you see the connection? Do you see how weird this is? And Joe tried to get Tamara to live in the house with me. He's like, oh, Tamara needs a place to stay and whatever and blah, blah, blah. But she has a house 5 blocks up on the same street. Now, that's where she lives and that's where my shit is right now. So, like, why did he try to get her to live in my house with me? And I was just like, I could see it in her eyes. The vulture, like, what can I get? What can I get? What can I? You know what I mean? I was just like, the same Wit, Uncle Wit and her have the same eyes. There's like the same demon in charge, the greed demon. So yeah. A little weird. I can't figure it out still. I cannot figure it out. But yeah, him and his little excavator thing, and I was just like warrant, and then he showed up early. So Tamara, I find out now she stole my keys, and I couldn't go to these classes. The Care Hawaii. All of a sudden, the judge changed my thing, and I went to a new courtroom, and all of a sudden, I had to go to a new caseworker who seems to be in on it. Edwin Wyron. She like totally lied in court, and I proved it. I was going to the last class the first few days, and they said I couldn't have bubbles, and I was trying to find a place for bubbles, and I was working with them, and I was allowed to miss the classes, and I made it to the last week, and then she lied and told the judge that I didn't go, and I refused. And I was like, I didn't refuse, and like I showed up at court, and Tamara insisted on going to court with me because I bought a new van from my buddy, who was the one who led me to the church, and I bought this van from him that I didn't need. I just saw that it had low mileage, and it was enough to help me finish my move and stuff. And then Joe shows back up like 2 weeks before court, and then all of a sudden my keys are gone, and I can't make it to these classes. And Joe's telling me, well, you need to give me a written agreement on what we said. And I was like, well, you said over the phone that we were fine doing 5,000 down when you get back in December, and then 500 a month after until it's paid off. And he got it for 15 because this lady died mysteriously when they co-signed, and he gave her a down payment, and then she's like, poof. You know what I'm saying, dude? All of this is super, super scary, weird, scary, weird. People, predator, some kind of cult or something. Predator. It's a predator cult, right? And then what? Simon and the Garden Temple and all this stuff. I'm like, what are these connections? I can't. I mean, dude. And so I'm not. Like even just telling you this is probably very dangerous for me. But like, hello. If I go away, if the courts, you know what I mean? Like even if a jury, like, dude, this is scary, dude. I am innocent. I have done nothing wrong. I'm an artist. I just shine love. I just give myself away constantly, and people keep making up rumors and trying to get me off, man. It's like not okay. That's. I mean, dude, how many laws are you breaking when you make up lies about somebody else that gets them killed? Oh my god! And the cops aren't doing anything. So yeah, I went. I couldn't find my keys. I bought the new van, thinking I was gonna maybe just move my stuff back into storage, but the week piled up on me, and I was trying to write this letter for the judge to explain everything that was happening, and I'm so slow. It took me 3 days to write the letter, and the the shipping container showed up, and Tamara was supposed to be helping me when she's really there inventorying my stuff. And dude, like it was crazy. Like, whoa. She scared the storage shipping container people off because they brought a U-Haul instead of the shipping container we agreed on. They kept my $7,000 and said it was my fault that I wasn't ready. And then she badgered them away, and she had my keys the whole time. And then the day of court, she insisted she had to be in Hilo and she needed a ride and she was going to be there for me in case anything happened. And I was like, no, they're not. They're going to listen. They're going to know. I went to the classes. I was checking in with the teacher. I have done nothing wrong. The judge is going to be fine. I'm not going to go into the mental institution like he threatened. I understand the court process. I've shown my capabilities. I go to court and it was just like the cops all of a sudden standing behind me, and they were already planning on locking me up. And I was just like, they wouldn't even listen to what had happened. And my caseworker lied. And I can prove it. And you know what I mean? All of it is super weird. And they threw me in the mental institution. And even though they said I'm mentally, like I am now, PTSD, ADHD, as can be, gifted, slightly autistic, and, OCD in weird ways, but not, my clutter, my ADHD clutter takes over for sure. It's my overwhelming disability, um, but highly intelligent, and right because I see the science in a different way. My joke is like I'm like Einstein and Tesla had a gay baby. And then I've been retarded by society every way possible. Right, retarded means to slow down. To retard is to slow something down. Like to dam a river is to retard. So gators and dammers and people that are just jealous, trying, just like, oh, gaslighting you because you're bright. I think I got to stop here in a second, but I think I got to the point where you can kind of understand. Like, I went to the mental institution, and it was like 3 weeks later, Tamara started calling me and asking me, "What are these things that are, like about?" She's like, "Well, what are the things that were most valuable or whatever?" And I was just like, "Well, my fulgurites. I mean," and I had them wrapped up and everything. She's like, "What is that? Are those your archaeological rocks you had?" I'm just like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, we didn't get those. They were left out, and we're supposed to take those down to my buddies and leave them under his house in the totes." And friends, how do you know? How do you know? I don't. And so I'm sorry if I'm paranoid. It comes with seeing the side of humanity that is most needing to be addressed. The NPD that our country has. We got to get that solved. So, t-shirts, therapy, not war. And you got to spell therapy with a capital R in the middle. So, difficult topic to bring up, but it's the cycle of abuse. The cycle of abuse must stop. We have to let the next generations evolve without their epigenetic traits triggered on to fight or flight mode. That is just not doing humans a good thing. That's how we turn into the Greys in the future. Sexless and no empathy. So, humans are beautiful. We gotta save them. So she said that Joe left all my stuff in the pile. I made police reports about him showing up and telling me that he wanted 75,000 down all of a sudden. And October, when he said December was fine, 5,000 down. I don't even know what the total is on that, but 10% of 50,000. All of a sudden, he instead of 50,000 agreed, he wants 750 for this place that isn't even worth the 50 because it's fallen apart and on the property line. And I was asking questions about why he dug this 6-foot hole for a septic tank that's over the line. He was going to bury me in that hole and get my shit. If the court didn't take me, then that was his plan. See what I'm saying? they targeted me, and he was gonna get me either way. And this guy has taken many people's lives from them. I see it in his eyes, and he's a preacher. He just stands up there and talks Jesus and holds the Bible and sells it. He sells it like such a good salesman. And give us some money in the plate, and we'll give you this free lunch afterwards, and we're just gonna like, Jesus all over. He's wearing a fake Jesus mask. And that is taking the Lord's name in vain, worshiping false idols, and straight up doing the devil's work. When really what I did in Pune was I lived through a Jesus scenario showing what Jesus' true lesson was, which was exposing the narcissism and saying that if we could all just like look in the mirror, reflect, get past our denial, and actually see that it just takes compassion, acceptance, and seeing that we're all just lost, scared children. You can forgive these monsters for that. You know what I mean? You don't have to retaliate, and you can let go and give yourself the peace you deserve. And oh wow, so here I am. This is, and I don't want to fight. I don't want, you know what I mean? But like, dude, like, do we let these people get away with what they've done? And dude, she the human with my passport and all these things that she held over me and all this stuff. I've got evidence of all of this. I posted it on my YouTube. You'll see it in the evidence pilot playlist and the succubus psychology nightmare playlist. All these things. There's places to look for these the evidence of these stories. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there and then tell the other half when I come back after eating and some, getting my head right. And sorry, I think I did good talking about this, like just and not getting too side distracted. Those are all details you kind of need to understand to see how. Like yesterday, I was surrounded by cops and I had snapped and I was willing to get those charges again. Entering a building without, I'm out on bail for entering a building and planted drugs. They could put me away for 15 years, and if I got arrested for that again, there's no way they would let me out on my own recognizance in my van. I would sit there in that jail until my trial was done, and I would have no way to be out here asking for witnesses to come in and getting people together for my trial and stuff. I have no phone numbers. They stole my phones and all these things, like my computer and all this stuff. She stole all my titles and sold my vehicles. She got pretty much most of the $100,000 that I sold my property for. It was turned into like cash. I was going through all these coin rolls and cash rolls and stuff in this room, in this house, and she got all my glass art, my childhood, my comic books that I collected. I'm a scientist. I've collected specimens of cool rocks and everything my whole life, and I've never tried to sell them. They were worth more to me than I could sell them for. And so, I mean, we're talking like, to me, what I could have sold my things for was well over $10 million. But she probably couldn't even get $50,000 for all of it by just, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what it is. I don't know, you know what I mean? She's just dumb. She used my coins that I had gone through and saved at the laundromat, dude. You see what I'm saying? Like, I had some seriously valuable quarters and nickels. Dink, 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 dink. I need gas. He's not worth millions. Fuck his whole year he spent going through coins. I don't even know what coins need to be valuable. Just like, you see what I'm saying? He's not worth a million. I made sure of it. And then, dude, like, Joe took my stuff, and then what he didn't know what to do with, he left out in the rain. My art. Dude, I mean, it's like, I gotta be grateful that she saved some of my stuff, but then she didn't give it to me. I saw it in her house, and then she started giving me the crap that was broken and she couldn't sell or use or whatever. I've got a storage unit 1 now instead of 3, full of all the crap that she couldn't make use of. And I'm like, why am I storing all this stuff that was just stuff I was gonna get rid of and sell anyway, or give away and donate? She gave me back all the garbage, and she's keeping all my life's work. And so, yeah, I snapped the other day. I walked in her house. My friend was there to help me get the kiln finally that she ran over with the car and doesn't work. It rusted out and all this stuff. I'm like, why do I need to go to store this? Also, find a place for it in my storage unit when she really should be paying for a new kiln. I mean, I've got video of her saying she backed her car into it and all these things. She took the cardboard protective layers off my art and all my canvases and just laid them out all the hard garages paved in cardboard, not protecting my art, and reduced the value of all my art. But she's still keeping it on her walls. I can't have the art back, but it's not her art. But it's on her walls and she wants to keep it. It's wild. She didn't lift a finger. The church people helped her move all the shit in there. So I'm like, how much is this church involved in pillaging people's lives? Probably, like would they want to know about this? Would the church elders want to have their preacher up there that is this kind of like fake Jesus man? It's like this? He's gonna ruin Jesus for the whole religion. The Seventh-day Adventists are gonna be like, wait a minute, what? We got the message of Jesus wrong? And they actually like took this guy that actually lived the Jesus experience. Like I'm practically another Jesus, just like all these other martyrs that were burned as witches throughout history. Abe Lincoln and all these people. Jesus is. How many times does Jesus have to come back before people get the point, dude? Hello? He's already back. He's within us all. We are all capable of having Christ consciousness if we had empathy. And so that's why I'm changing the word Christ. He who Christs the most is the Christest of them all. The Christest. I'm the Christest. Trump, he's the Christest, right? He's more Christest than you, that's for sure. It's narcissism. The human sickness is narcissism, and that starts in childhood. Terrible twos. We have to teach children how to take no for an answer, respectfully, honorably, and how to communicate with their words to get what they want and to be able to work out with the people in their environment. Not terrorize them with the threats of tantrums, but communicate with respect. And we treat them with respect, and they'll treat us with respect back. That's what I did with my daughter. It worked like a charm. She's the most genius little like scientist artist I've ever seen in my life, and I really am. I'm happy for all the I went through to be able to give her the right kind of dad example until she was 10 years old, and I hope she sees that my work is. I mean, I'm showing that the gospel is real. I'm on a life mission from God to show people that if you love Jesus, you're going to heaven. You're going to find the light, and you'll be protected because you're on the right side, or the correct side. The right is not the right side. Them is the church people that are bastardizing the name. Sorry to break it to you. But I see the truth in the religions, in the myths and the stories. It's a true account, but it's been patriarchy and plagiarized and slandered, and that's why we're on backwards planet. Everything is opposite right now. So you don't want to shine the light because that's shadows. All the shadows scatter when you shine the light, and they don't like that. So they're using all of the ways that people let themselves get possessed to take control of the ones who were just like, tell me what to think. Just let me just drive my body for me because I'm not doing anything to become better. So I want to set an example of deductive logic, self-educating, autodidactic learning, trying to get your flaws corrected so that you can enjoy your precious time here in a body on Earth, on this beautiful planet, and be part of nature. It's right there, dude. It's right there. I see the beauty everywhere, every day, and people just miss it. They're not catching the opportunities to make the most of it. So I hope it's worth it. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna do another live, and I'll continue when I want to talk about right? I'll start the next one with how I met 3 Jesus guys that thought they were Jesus in the mental institution. I'm like, really? Thank God. I was wondering if I was, and I don't know. But I see the truth is right. It's if you got the Christ consciousness, then yes, you are Jesus too, and we're all God's children. We're all very very powerful, and we witness miracles every day. And if you have the eyes to see them, then there's no denying the gospel is the way to live. And meditation or prayer and all these things, however you want to look at it, there's finding the way you find your center. Um, it's worth it to get there and work on getting there. Your breathing, your chakras, your electromagnetic field, your aura, it's all real. These are real things. Um, and so yeah, don't get tricked by the news. And 99 scientists agree that whatever. They're overzealously conclusive, most likely. 99 agree. It's just too many, because how do you know anything in this madness? Anyway, I love you. May the force be with you. Good luck on the next round, making it to the next round. I'll be there for you.